This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so basically it's a three-step process, right? So the first step we discussed, it's a authorization request, that is getting the access code. And then the second step what we seen, so we have used that yet another browser client to use that like getting the access token, right, by using this okay, just give me a minute. Yeah, by using this URL we got the access token, right? So and then like in some applications I mentioned some applications they will be directly validating, decrypting the access token by using the certificate, right? So we did, I mean, we decrypted the access token by using this JWT IO, right? So this one, this website we have directly decrypted. Okay, but for I mean, there is a third step. Is there like third API to use to get the user info? That is, it's also validating the access token, but by using the attributes actually, by getting the attributes. Okay, so this is a three-step process which we have used for a authorization code grant type. Okay, so now today what we are going to do, we are going to see other grant types actually, and then we will see working of the other grant types actually, how to use that API. So like what is an implicit grant type? Implicit grant type is just a direct OAuth workflow, right? That means whenever the user has been authenticated successfully, the ping Federate will create an access token directly, right? So that is the implicit grant type. So it is a two-step process. So you won't be, I mean, like here instead of creating access code, it will directly create the access token actually. The same request you will be doing. Okay, so here the response type will get changed, and then the client ID will get changed. Scope will get, I mean, so scope will be the same. Redirect URI, if you want, you can change it. Okay, but instead of creating a code, it will directly create a access token. So that is the implicit grant type. It's a two-step process. That is, one step is one API call you will be doing to get the direct access token. Next API call you have to do validating the access token, that is getting the user info, right? So if application team does not want to use that API call, means they can directly validate that access token by using the jwt.io website. I mean, like basically by using the certificate they can able to do it. Okay, so now what we can do, we will go start with the implicit grant type. Okay, so here basically we have some steps, right? So here, as I already mentioned, this OAuth universal settings, the scope management, data store, PCV adapters, we don't need this. I mean, like here, if we did one time, means I mean, we can use the same settings for all the other client ID. Only the client ID will get change every time. Okay, so now what we can do, we can go ahead and create a client ID for implicit granted. So we can use the existing access token actually. We can use the existing access token, or else okay, we'll try to create a access token actually. We'll create a new access token and new OpenID policy. Okay, create a new instance. Okay, and then give some name for this token 2. Okay, copy the instance name, paste the instance ID. Okay, JSON web tokens, click on next. Okay, add a new row to the certificates, add a new row to the certificates, give the certificate ID, just give some dummy value here. Again, choose the certificate and then update. Okay, token lifetime, okay, it's fine actually, 120 minutes, this is fine. Okay, JWS algorithm, as I already mentioned, ping Federate supports only RSA shard 256, RSA using shard 256. Okay, then we are not using the symmetric key ID, so we need to use the signing certificate key ID. Okay, so we are using this signing certificate key ID. Okay, basically it's getting from this one. Okay, yeah, and then click on next. So as I already mentioned, this one does not require because obviously it will get override. Okay, click on next, and then what are the attributes we can able to send it? Shall we send first name? Okay, shall we send last name? And then we can also send a mail address, maybe username. Okay, so basically the default 4 attributes we can send it in the token: first name, last name, mail address, username. So in this token I'm going to send these 4 attributes. Okay, click on next. Okay, here click on next. Okay, we are not going to restrict anything. Click on next, scroll down and save it. Okay, now access token has been created. Shall we map this policy contract to this token which we have created now? Okay, token 2, map the policy contract. Okay, map the policy contract, add mapping, okay, add attribute source. So the similar step will get continue. The similar step will get continue. LDAP, choose the data store. Okay, click on next. Okay, base DN. Okay, BC equal to example, comma, BC equal to com. Okay, this will be the same thing. Show all attributes. Mail. What are the attributes I am going to get it? Mail, first name, right? First name is given name, right? Given name, and then last name is SN, right? That is the last name. And then what is that username? UID. Okay, give that UID, add it. Okay, so this one is done. Click on next. Okay, now UID equal to the filter I have to give it. UID is equal to $APC subject. Okay, so I gave it. Click on next. Okay, so LDAP filter, everything has been done. The next one is the mapping of the attributes. Click on done here. Click on next. Okay, now we need to map it. First name, the source will be the LDAP. Okay, the value will be the given name. Okay, the last name, source will be the LDAP. Okay, value will be the SN. For mail, source will be the LDAP, value will be the mail, username, source will be the LDAP, and then UID. Okay, so mapping has been done successfully. Click on next. Next, summary, save it. Now we have mapped this policy contract, so we can able to use the adapters for this token manager. Okay, now OpenID connect policy management. Okay, click on here. Okay, add a new open policy. Okay, give the name as OpenID2. Okay, give the same name. Okay, access token manager as 2, whatever we have created now. Include the user info in ID token because we need to do the third API. Okay, click on this one. Click on next. Okay, so basically the default attributes, it will come automatically, so we don't need anything. So in access token we are sending the 4 attributes, right? So the same attributes we are going to send it in the OpenID policy also. Okay, okay, what are the attributes we are going to send it? First name, okay, last name, add mail address, add what is that, username. Okay, add, yeah. So the next click on next. Okay, the scope will be the OpenID. Okay, choose the values, attributes, add it. Click on next. Okay, here we don't need to add any attributes, so we can able to get it from the access token itself. Click on next. Okay, choose the first name as access token, source and value as first name, last name access token, value as last name, mail access token, mail, subject access token, it's a UID. Basically subject is the, I mean, it's kind of a mandatory value. Access token, so basically you will be sending the username here for the subject. It's a in every cases you will be sending only the UID actually. Okay, not any other attributes. Okay, username, click on next. Next, save it. Okay. Okay, I think I got some expiration for that license actually. Okay, let me do that license. Just give me a minute, guys. Okay, just give me a minute. Okay, let me share my screen again. Okay. Okay, I think you can able to see my screen. Okay, so now we have created access token manager and access token mappings and OpenID, right? So now our license got expired, right? Okay, I will tell you how to, I will tell you how to upload a new license file. Okay, so go to the system, okay, server, go to the system, server, okay, license, click on the license, choose a file, choose a file, okay, choose a new file, save it, and then click on save here. Okay, now it has been changed to currently for extra 30 days. Okay, so this is the license this is how you have to upload a new license key. Okay, now go back to the access token manager. We have created access token mappings, we have created OpenID also we have created. Now we need to create a OAuth clients. Okay, click on the OAuth clients. Okay, click on create a new client. Okay, so now what we are going to do, we are going to create an implicit grant type, right? Choose the implicit here. Okay, give implicit, okay, name as implicit. Okay, scroll down, add the redirection URI. Okay, maybe we can give some other redirection URI like what we can say, google.co.in. Okay, this is the redirect URI. Okay, so here I will bypass this authorization approval. Yesterday we saw that screen, right, to give the authorization approval, right? So here we can bypass this one. Now I will use the implicit, okay, grant type, and then access token manager to choose the second token which you have created now. Scroll down and then choose the OpenID Connect policy. Okay, second OpenID Connect policy which you have created. Click on save. Okay, now we created all the things. Okay, so now what we need to do, we are going to test it. Okay, now yes, if you scroll down in the document, you will be getting this implicit grant type. Okay, so here in the implicit grant type, request authorization from the user and retrieve the access token. So basically it's the same URL, but only the response type will get changed. Response underscore type is equal to token, right? This is a syntax for the implicit grant type. Response underscore token is equal to, sorry, response underscore type is equal to token is the syntax for the implicit. Okay, so copy this, the same one. Okay, we are going to do it, implicit grant type. Okay, paste it. So what we need to do, we need to change the client id. So what is the client id I have used? Implicit grant type, right? So client id is the implicit, so I think I have used the same name. Yeah, implicit is the client id, so I changed the client id. What is the response underscore type? So authorization code is for authorization underscore code. So here we have to use token, because token is the syntax for the implicit grant type. Okay, so I have given the token. Next, scope is equal to OpenID, that is the same. And what is the redirect URI I have given? Go to the redirect URI and copy this redirect URI and then paste it here. Okay, that's all. Okay, now let's do this. Okay, yeah, so let's copy this and then let's see. Okay, open another tab. Okay, just paste it here. Okay, hit it. Again, so here it is coming to the login page, right? So whenever I gave this request, right, client ID is equal to implicit and then response type is equal to token. So here it will come to this client ID, whether it is implicit client ID is there or not. So if it is there, so it will validate this client ID. And then what is the next one? Response underscore type is equal to token. And then it will come here and check whether the grant type has been used as the implicit grant type or not. Okay, so it is using the implicit grant type and then it will confirm. Next, it will go to the scope. Okay, scope means it will come back to this OpenID Connect policy management. Okay, so I am used this OpenID Connect policy. So here it will go to this OpenID Connect policy. Go to this OpenID 2. Again, it will check the scope is there or not. Okay, so here scope is there, OpenID. Okay, again it will go to this token. Okay, whatever the token manager which I have configured this for this OpenID, and then it will go to this access token management, whether this token is there or not. Okay, it is there. Again it will go back to the token mappings. So here what is the token mappings, is there or not? So here this policy contract I have configured, then it will go back to this policy, it will come to the, it is triggering this policy. Okay, so this policy is satisfying the condition. Again, so here it is triggering my UID and username and password. It is throwing my login page, right? So I am giving my username and password. I think I have used the composite adapter in the policy. So I will be getting the like MFA authentication. So I am accepting the MFA authentication. So I accepted it. So after I accepted it, it is redirecting me, right? So Now here you could see, right, in the URL itself I can able to see the access token. So basically this is kind of one of the disadvantages also, you can able to see it. So here in the URL itself we can able to see the access token actually. Okay, so this is the access token. Okay, what is the token type? Bearer. Obviously the everything, the token type will be the bearer only. Okay, so what is the next step? So here in implicit there is only two calls. One API call I did it. Okay, so next API call, getting the validating the access token by getting the attributes by using the user info endpoint, right? So here with if the application team does not use the API call, means we can directly decrypt the access token. Okay, so basically if you type here, you can able to decrypt the token. So here we are sending the first name, last name, and then the mail address, the username, and then this is the expiration time. So I have given 2 hours, right? So that is why it has been going to 10:26 to 12:25, right? So this is basically the expiration time. Okay, so this is directly decrypting the access token. Now let's do the okay, just copy this URL. Okay, so let's do the user info endpoint. Okay, let's do that one, the API second step for the okay. So this is the user info endpoint. Copy this user info endpoint, okay, and paste it here. So get operation we are going to do. What is the custom header? Add new header. It's authorization. Okay, value will be bearer space the access token. Okay, space, where is the access token? Copy this access token and paste it here. Save it. Now send the request. Here you could see, right, the username, last name, mail address, first name, I can able to get it. So basically, like by using the API you can able to get the attributes actually. Okay, so this is how you can able to test the implicit flow actually. Okay, so basically authorization code granted, it's a 3-step process, that is getting the access code, getting the access token, validating the access token. So this one 2-step process, getting the access token and then validating the access token. That's all. This is the implicit granted. So because of this step and here in this URL itself we can able to see the access token, right? So that is why like implicit is less secure than the I mean authorization code granted. Okay, so now here, I mean yesterday in there is one concept I have explained you, right, regarding what is refresh token, right? So basically like so we have given 120 minutes for access token, right? So after 120 minutes I need to log in again. Okay, so it will create a new access token. Okay, but here if we are using the refresh token, right, so this refresh token at the time of, I mean before 5 minutes of expiration of the access token, this refresh token will roll out a new access token actually. So it will roll out the new access token for the users. Okay, so this refresh token can be applicable only for a authorization code granted. Okay, so you can't able to work with the implicit granted, it won't work. This refresh token, it won't work. So basically client credential, it does not even you can't able to work it for client credential because there is no user available for the client credentials, right? So it won't be used, you can't able to use it. Similarly for implicit granted, you can't able to use the refresh token. So only for authorization code granted you can able to use the refresh token. Okay, so let's go back to the okay, so let's go back to the OAuth client and authorization code grant type is there, right? So let's go to this authorization code grant type client ID and let's enable the refresh token. Okay, let's enable the refresh token. So here I will bypass this authorization approval. I'm bypassing this authorization approval and then I will enable this refresh token. So I am enabling this refresh token option and then I am saving it. Okay, now so again I'm going to do the 3-step process. Okay, so along with, I mean in the next, in the second step, getting the access token is the second step, right? So along with the access token, now I will be getting the refresh token also. Okay, so here there is one more API involving this method actually. If you are using the refresh token, right, the application team will use one more API actually. Okay, so that API is known as the, I mean getting new access token by using the existing refresh token actually. Okay, shall we do that one? Okay, first of all, what is the first step? Okay, let's open one Yark client. Okay, and then let's open another Yark. Okay, let's open one more Yark client actually. Okay, so I'm opening three Yark clients actually. Okay, sorry, I opened three Yark clients. Okay, so first of all, this is the authorization request. This is the authorization request. That is the first step. Okay, so what is the second step? Token info endpoint, right? So that is the second step, right? Where is that? Yeah. So this is the second step, token endpoint. That is second API. Okay, copy this one and then paste it here. This is the post method. Okay, use the post method and then headers. Okay, add new headers. It's a content type. Okay, and then value will be, what is the value here? They have specified. Okay, so it's application. This one. Copy this and then paste it here, save it. Now what is the payload I have to give it? So I have to give these payloads, right? Client ID, redirect URI. Okay, I have to give these payloads. Okay, remove this response type is equal to code. Okay, and then what is the next one? I need to give the grant underscore type. Okay, grant underscore type equal to, what is that? Authorization underscore code. Okay, next. Next, what is the next payload? Code is equal to, I need to give the code, right? So what is, I mean, we need to do the first step now to get the code value. Okay, I'm hitting it now. Okay, open another tab, paste it here. Okay, I'm typing my username and password. Okay, hitting it. So here it will give me the second factor authentication. I am accepting the authentication. So once it is done, it will create a code for me. Okay. So it is created a code here. Copy this code. So it has been created a code. Okay. Go back to the yet another browser. Paste this code. I am pasting this code and sending the request. So here you could see, right, there is a refresh token has been created here. So access token is there and then refresh token is also created, right? So this is the, I mean, when you enable the access, enable the refresh token, so it will create access token. I mean, enable the refresh token means along with the access token, it will create a refresh token also. Okay. So what is the third step, third API? Okay. So I need to give this one, right, in yet another browser client. So here getting the attributes, validating the access token. Edit this entry. Okay. Paste that. Oh, sorry. Bearer space, paste the token, save it. Now send the request. So here, I mean, in the first token, I am sending only the mail address and then the username, right? So that is why I'm getting these values. Okay. So now what I'm going to do? Okay. So here I'm going to, like, using this refresh token, I'm going to create a new access token actually. Okay, so by using this refresh token, I'm going to create a new access token. Let's do that. Okay, so here if you scroll down, okay, let me go which page I'm going to check it. Okay, just give me a minute. Okay, 24. Yeah. Refresher token. Okay, so that means, so the same URL I'm going to use it. Okay, so that is the, this is the same URL I'm going to use it, because this is the token endpoint, right? This is the API call, you need to get the token. Okay, so I'm going to use the same thing. Okay, paste this one, post. Okay, so that is the method. Okay, next what I need to do, so I need to give the headers. Okay, I need to give the headers again, add new headers, content type. Okay, and okay, sorry, this is the one, application. Okay, give it, save it. Now this one is done. What is the payload? They have shared it here. Grant underscore type is equal to refresh underscore token and refresh token value, right? Copy this one and paste it here. Okay, refresh token value. So where I can get the refresh token value? So here I got the refresh token value, right? Copy this refresh token. Okay, and paste it here. Shall we send the request now? Send the request now. Let's see. So here you could see, right? I mean, let's see the, I mean, here this access token has been ending with W-G, sorry, underscore GW. Okay. So let's check this existing token. Here you could see, right, the old token MRH HQ. So here the new access token, it has been changed. Now you could see, right, I have used this refresh token to get the new access token. Okay, so let's do this again. Okay, I can able to create many tokens actually. I can able to create many tokens. Okay, so here I can able to, by using this refresh token, I can able to create many tokens. Okay, so this is the fourth API. The application team will trigger this actually. Okay, so because I mean whenever the access token is going to expire, right, they will they will trigger this API call to get a new access token, so that the user won't be get log out from the system actually. Okay, so this refresh token only applicable for the authorization code grant type. Okay, so basically this refresh token is kind of a one of the new feature in Ping Federate actually. You can able to, I mean, lot of applications they are using this refresh token actually, like I mean this API also. Okay, so now we have seen four different APIs, right? One is first of all getting the access code or getting the access token for implicit grant type. Next, getting the access token for the authorization code grant type and other grant types. And then like third, validating the access token, that is a user info endpoint, right? So this user info endpoint to get the attributes. Okay, and then the last one we have seen, this is the refresh token APIs, right? So now you understood, right? Any doubts till now, guys? This authorization code grant type working and the implicit grant type working, like we have tested it, right? Shall we move on to the next two grant types, other two grant types, client credentials and resource owner password credential? Okay, basically the client credentials, right? It's just a normal configuration. You don't need the access token for that. Okay, you don't need that. I mean, basically that you don't need a third API actually. I mean, authorization code grant type having a third API, right? So for client credentials, you don't need the third API actually, and then client credentials, you don't need the first API also, authorization request API. Only one API will be used for the one API used for that client credentials actually. Okay, no other API won't be used. I mean, basically because there is no there is no user interface is there for the client credential, right? Basically the user authentication, it won't be there. So you don't need the access token manager. You don't. I mean, you don't need the open ID also. Okay, nothing will be there actually. Okay. Okay, now we'll go and configure the client credentials. So here you don't need to create any access token manager, or you don't need to create any open ID policy management. Okay, you can use the existing token manager itself. Okay, so existing token manager we can able to use it. Okay, now go to the clients. Okay, add client. Okay, give the client ID. Okay, shall we? Okay, it's the client credentials, right? I will be using CC. Okay, short form CC. Okay, now I need to give the client secret. So client secret is mandatory for the client credentials grant type. Okay, so I will be changing the secret. Okay, okay, I'm giving some dummy secret actually. Okay, so in your organization, if you implementing a client credentials means you have to generate the secret like this. So it's kind of a automatic value will be generated, but don't generate like this. Okay, I mean, like in your organization you can generate it, but for testing purposes, I am giving this one test. Okay, yeah. Next one, you don't need the redirect URI also. It's not required for this one. Okay, bypass authorization approval, and then client credentials grant type. You have to choose the client credentials grant type. Okay, so scroll down and then save it. That's all. Okay, so basically this is the client credentials. Actually, it doesn't require any configuration. You have to configure only client's ID, client secret, and then the client credentials grant type. That's all basically. Okay, save it. Now I have configured the client ID. Okay, let's do the testing actually. Let's do the testing. Okay, so let's do this here. So basically again here, go back to the client credentials grant type working flow. So here so this is the client credentials, right? Okay, so here request a access token. So this is the same URL I am going to use it. Okay, the same URL and then the same headers. Okay, shall we do that? Okay, maybe I will do the new one so that you can able to understand it. So this is the same URL. Okay, same post method, same header, content type. Okay, and then the value will be the same thing. Okay, where is it? Yeah, so here save it. Now what is the payload they have given here? Grant underscore type. Okay, we'll give the grant. Okay, first of all give the client underscore ID. Client underscore ID is equal to, what is a client underscore ID? CC, right? CC, it's a client ID, ampersand. client credentials, client underscore credentials is equal to the client credentials I have given ampersand grant underscore type. What is a grant type? Client underscore credentials. Oh, sorry, it's a client secret actually. Sorry, it's a client secret. It's not a. So client underscore secret is equal to test. Grant underscore type is equal to credentials. Client underscore credentials. Okay, you understand it, right? Okay, now let's send the request whether it is working or not. You could see, right? So it requires only the client ID, client secret, grant underscore type in the request. That's all. It will directly create a access token. Now, if you decrypt this access token, right? If you decrypt this access token by here, it won't have any information actually. It won't have any information, okay? Because it does not have any users, right? Because there is no user. Like user interaction is there. I mean, there is no user interaction because it does not show any kind of a login page. This is just basically like a machine authentication. Okay, so whatever, I mean, this client credential grant type, right? I think I forgot to mention that point. Okay, so this client credential grant type mainly used for only the applications has been installed on the machine actually. Okay, like you can take an example as a weather application in your mobile phone. Okay, so basically weather application, okay, you don't need, I mean, like it will be pre-installed in your mobile actually. Okay, so if you are using a OnePlus or if you are using a, if you are using Apple iPhone means, so the weather application, it will be pre-installed in your mobile actually. Okay, and then for using the weather application, you don't need to type the username and password, or you don't need to do the authentication, right? So weather application is a direct example for a real-time example for the client credentials grant type actually. So it's a machine authentication. You can say it's a machine to machine authentication. That means it is authenticating your machine, not the user actually. Okay, so the one use case is that the client credentials grant type is mainly used for the applications has been directly installed on the user's desktops or user's laptop or user's iPad or iPhone or the Android phone actually. Okay, so only those applications we can able to enable the client credentials grant type actually. Basically they are they are authenticating your machine actually, not the users. Okay, yeah. So any doubts till now? Shall we move on to the next one, the ROPC? So because the ROPC will be like little bit different actually. Okay, like the configuration will be the same, and then the APIs also will be the same API you will be using, but you will be, okay, anyone left or something? Okay, I think Santosh, okay, okay, I think he came back. Okay, let's continue again. So resource owner password grant types, I mean, that is a ROPC grant type also. Like it is similar to all other grant types, like authorization code grant type and then the implicit grant type, but somewhat little bit different between the authorization code grant type. Okay, let's see that one. So here, I mean, in authorization code grant type, you will be using the 3 APIs and then plus 1 API if you enable the refresh token, right? So here in implicit only 2 APIs, getting the access token, validating the user infos. Client credentials only 1 API, getting the access token only. That's all. The third thing is that getting the, I mean, sorry, the fourth one is that ROPC. You will be using the 2 APIs. One is this token API. Okay, one is this token API you will be using. The next one is validating the access token API. That's all. Only 2 APIs. You will be using it for the resource owner password credential grant type. Okay, let's enable this one. Okay, so basically here when I mean in ROPC grant type, the request in the authorization request itself, right? Okay, they will be sending the username and password of the user actually, username and password of the user. So how to validate that username and password in ping federate? So how we are validating in ping federate the username and password? Can anyone say how we are validating the username and password in ping? We are, how we are authentic, I mean, like how we are validating the username and password? Can anyone confirm this, guys? Manish,
Uh, so validating the user ID and password.
Yes, yes. I mean, in our training, we did that one actually. How? I mean, I think in the fifth class or sixth class when we are doing the. Okay, so in Ping Federate, which component is used to validating the credentials actually? Like that is fine if you. I mean, that is fine if it is a wrong also, that is not a problem. You can tell me.
I think it would just validate using the credentials what are there in the LDAP.
Yeah, yeah. For LDAP, it will validate the credentials in the LDAP, but it is going and checking in the LDAP, right? So, in which component we have given that one actually? In Ping Ferret, we have given that option actually.
With a
Okay.
selector.
No, no, no. In HTML adapter, we gave one option. We have enabled one thing. So, which is mandatory for creating an HTML adapter actually. Okay. So what are the steps we did for creating a normal? So here data stores. So what is the use case of this PCV? Like in HTML adapter, we are using the concept known as PCV, right? Password credential validator. So basically in Ping Federate, right? So the PCV component will be used to validate the credentials along with, validating the credentials in the LDAP. So if you go to the system, password credential validator. So we have created one password credential validator, right? So here we have given this information. We have given the data store information. We have given the search base and we have given the filter. So based on these things, it is correctly validating the username and password in the LDAP. So if we didn't give this information means the HTML adapter won't work actually. I mean, even we can't able to create a HTML adapter in Ping Federate without giving the option as PCV actually. Okay, without PCV you can't able to create a HTML form adapter. So basically in Ping Federate, PCV is the one we will be doing. We will be like, it is used to validating the username and password in the LDAP, right? So similarly, we in access token mappings, right? So we are mapping the policy contract, we are mapping the adapters, but that is not required, right? Mapping the policy contract or mapping direct adapters means it just basically it will do the, it will give the login page to the user, right? So ROPC, resource on a credential grant type. It's a main use case of the ROPC is that when the application team does not want our login page to be triggered, right? So that is the use case we are using for ROPs, right? So it won't go for our policies or it won't trigger any adapters actually, like authorization code grant type or implicit grant type. It is triggering an adapters, right? It is getting the username, it is using our login page to get the username and password, right? So but for ROPC method, it won't use any concept like adapters or selectors or policies actually. Okay, for ROPC grant type, it doesn't include anything, only the PCV matter. So here we will be mapping the PCV. Okay, so here we don't find the PCV, right? We don't find the PCV here. So how to enable this PCV here? Again, this step will comes into the picture. So IDP adapter policy contract slash PCV to persistent grant mapping. Okay. Now let's go to the same authentication policy contract grant mapping. So here, policy contract grant mapping, IDP grant mapping is there, right? So here in the description, it will show here. Okay. Only for authorization code and implicit grants, not for any other grants. Again, if you go here IDP adapters, it will show only for authorization code and implicit grant types. Okay, so here there is a next step is there, right? Resource owner credentials grant type. If you click here, manage the credential validator instances into the persistent grant mapping used to authenticate the username and password patch for the OAuth resource owner password credential grant. Okay, so in order to enable this in the access token mappings, right, we will be mapping it here. So the PCV which you have created, right, this one, choose that add mapping. We don't need to add any attribute source. User key will be there. So choose the, now every time we will be choosing the source as authentication policy contract or adapters or LDAP, right? So here we will be using the source as PCV. Okay, here in the PCV itself, you can able to get the this one username, you can able to get the username. Next, and save it. Now this one is done. Okay, so here we can use the existing token manager itself. We can use the existing this token, actually we can use this token number 2. Okay, go to this access token mappings. So here in the context you can able to find the validator, that is a PCV. Okay, so here now we have enabled there, so it is automatically coming up here, validator PCV. What is access token manager? I am going to use it token 2. Okay, use the token 2, add mapping. Okay, add mapping. So here add attribute source. Okay, let's add the attribute source LDAP. So the same step will get follow. Okay, LDAP, click on next. Base DN, just give the base DN. DC equal to com. Okay, what are the attributes I need to get it? Mail, I think given name, right? Okay, given name. Okay, SN, and then UID, right? Add attribute, click on next. So now here, what is the filter you will be giving? UID is equal to, so here previously we will be using APC dot subject, right? So now PCV dot username. Okay, PCV dot username, give this one. Okay, click on next, done, next. So map that value LDAP, given name LDAP, SN, LDAP, mail, LDAP, UID. Okay, next, and save it. Okay, so this one is done. We already created an open ID, right? We can use the existing one. Okay, now what is the next step? Client ID. So I'm going to create a client ID. Go to the clients, add client. Okay, so this is the client ID. Give the name ROPC. Okay, give the name as ROPC because this is a ROPC credentials grant type, right? So scroll down. Okay, you can give the redirect URI for this. Okay, give the redirect URI. Okay, maybe www dot like what which one we can able to give it. Okay, google.com. The same URL we can give it. Add, bypass. I mean, basically it doesn't matter. Actually, I mean, we need this. I mean, we are not doing any authentication, right? Even this option is not mandatory also, but that's fine. So here you have to give the resource owner password credentials grant type. Okay, enable this option and then choose the token manager, token 2, scroll down, choose the policy and save it. Okay, so now ROPC credential grant type has been created. Now shall we test it? Now we can test it. Okay, now go back to any one of the, okay, now go open yet another client. Okay, I'm going to use this one. Okay, so here if you scroll up, go to the ROPC in this document and then, so here resource owner password credential is there, right? So here if you scroll down, request user authentication to retrieve the access token. Now here in the body, what are the details they are given? Grant underscore type, username and password is also there, right? So shall we do that one? So here, where is that? Okay, copy this one and paste it here. I am going to use the post method. Similarly, the same header you will be using it. Okay, content type, give the value. Where is the value? Okay, here, give the value. Okay, the same API will be used. Okay, save it. Okay, so now this is done. Now what are the payload? Client underscore ID equal to ROPC, right? Now next, grant underscore type. Grant underscore type is equal to, what is the grant underscore type they have given here? What is the syntax for ROPC? It's a password. Okay, it's a password. Grant underscore type is equal to password. That is the syntax for a ROPC grant type. Okay, so we should, I mean, in other grant types we will be giving the full name, right? But here for resource owner password credential grant type, they are not, in the ping is not using the full name. They have given syntax. I mean, some syntax for this ROPC. Okay, ampersand. We need to give the username also. Okay, what is the username? 546123. That is the username, right? And then what is the password? The password which I have used, right? So that password I need to give it here, and then ampersand. Okay, what is the next one? Is that ampersand scope is equal to open ID and then ampersand redirect underscore URI equal to, what is the redirect underscore URI? I think it's this one, right? Okay, let me, I think this is, where is that? Copy this redirect URI and paste it here. Now that's all. Send the request. So here you could see, right, access token has been created successfully. So now if you copy this access token and then go to the JSON JWT IO and paste it here, you can able to see it, all the attributes, right? Now again, what is the next API to get it? User info endpoint, right? So go to that user info endpoint, copy this, okay, edit this one, okay, delete this one, bearer, and then paste this access token. Okay, save it. Now send the request. Now here you can see, right, all the attributes are there in the user info endpoint. Okay, so you can able to understand it now, right? All the grant types. Okay, so keep in mind that for authorization code grant type there are three APIs. One is getting the access code, next is getting the token, third one is validating the token, that is getting the user info from the user info endpoint, right? So implicit getting the access token, and then next one is validating the access token using the user info endpoint. Then client credentials, only getting the access token, that is the second API we are going to use it. Now, right now the fourth one, ROPC. So we will be using two different APIs. One is second API getting the access token, but in there is a difference is there. In the request we will be sending the username of the user and then the password of the user actually. Okay, username of the user and then the password of the user. So that is the difference here in this ROPC. Obviously the third step, I mean the next one is that we are getting the validating the like access token by getting the user info from the user info endpoints. Okay, so basically this is the OAuth configurations. Okay, so there are like four different workflows are there: authorization code grant type, implicit grant type, client credentials grant type, and ROPC. So in that, authorization code grant type is the widely used method actually. Okay, I mean widely used method and most secured way of doing the OAuth. Okay, the next one is that implicit grant type, it's a direct method. Okay, authorization code grant type, it's not a direct method. It is a, I mean it will create access code after the validation of the username and password. So after creating access code, it will send to the client. The client will request for access token by using that access code, that it will swap the access code to the access token actually. Okay, next after creating access token, it will validate the access token by getting the certificate or by creating a API call. Okay, so that is the authorization code grant type. Okay, next is that implicit grant type. So after authenticating the username and password, it will directly creating an access token and validating the access token, right? So for client credentials it's a different one because there is no user interaction will be there, that is user does not need to type the username and password. So based on the client ID and client secret, it will validate and create an access token, right? Now for ROPC, so this is the least secure way of doing the OAuth. Why? Because in the request itself we are sending the username and password. Okay, so what is the use case of ROPC is that, so when the application team does not want the our ping Federate login page to be triggered, means you can use this ROPC method. Okay, okay, so this is the four different types of grant types we are having it in the OAuth. Okay, so the next one is that there is a one more like one more configuration is that is there actually. So that is known as the authorization code grant type with the PKCE method. Okay, as I already mentioned, it's not a different grant type actually, it's an extension of the authorization code grant type. Okay, so that is known as the authorization code with the PKCE method. Okay, so in this document it won't be there because this PKC method has been introduced maybe like 6 months before actually, 6 or 7 months before they have introduced this PKC method. Okay, so PKC method is known as the proof key for code exchange. Okay, so this key for code exchange, this will reduce, why we are using this proof key for code exchange means I mean the application team does not want to use any kind of a certificate to decrypt the access token. So we are decrypting the access token, right? Like this. I mean, in JWT, we are using some kind of a third party application to decrypt the token, right? But here in proof key for code exchange, right, we won't be using any kind of a certificate to decrypt the access token. So here in the request itself, right? Okay, so here in the request, we are sending lot of attributes, right? In the request, we are passing lot of as a query parameters. Okay, the application team along with the request, they will pass some kind of a mandatory values, actually some other two other attributes. Actually, I mean, it's not an attribute, it's a mandatory values, maybe like a code challenge method actually. So it's just what we can say, it's a code challenge we will be sending in the, so that code challenge, right, it will be SHA-256 method. It's a, what we can say, it's a encrypted value we will be sending in the authorization code, authorization request, right? So it will create a code with that code challenge. Okay, then they will do the second API call. Okay, so in that API call, okay, so that code challenge should be available in the second API call also. Then only the ping federate will compare that code challenge and then the code verifier in the second step. Okay, if it is same means it will create access token. Okay, it will create a access token actually. Okay, so that is why it is like authorization code with PKC method is more secure, and we will get the, I mean, we will remove the dependency of the certificate actually. Okay, you got it right? Okay, so we will do the testing now. Okay, now we will do the testing. Okay, now go back to the, okay, where is that, yeah, so here in ping federate, right? Okay, just give me a minute guys, I will drink some water and come back. Just give me a minute, I will drink some water and come back. Okay.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, sorry guys, sorry for the interruption. Okay, so yeah, now we'll continue. Okay, we'll go back to the ping fed, right? Okay, so guys, can you able to hear me right now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sorry guys. Okay, so here authorization code with the PKC method. Okay, go to the auth here, go to the auth, and then enable the PKC option here. Okay, so here require proof key for code exchange. So here in the ping federate, right, if you enable, I mean, in ping federate
No,
there is no, can you able
uh,
to, yeah, yeah, go
I'm
ahead.
not seeing the screen.
Oh, sorry, sorry. Sorry. Yeah, 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 now can you able to see my screen, Manish?
Yes.
Yeah, so here, if you go to that authorization code grant type, authorization code grant type client ID, right? So here, if you scroll down, there is an option require proof. Require proof key for code exchange. Okay, so basically in ping federate, right, there is not much. I mean, there is not much what we can say. There is not much configuration for a authorization code granted with the PKC method actually. So you have to just enable this option. That's all. You have to enable this option, and then it will be done actually. Okay. So this is known as the authorization code granted with the PKC method. But everything in the application side will get changed actually. Okay. I mean, the same APIs they will be doing, but they will add some other, they will add more in the query parameters actually. Let's do that one, okay? Save it and let's test it, okay? Now, what is the first step? We will be doing it. The first step is that authorization request, right? So this is the first step we will be doing, okay? So in that we will be sending the code challenge and then the state actually, okay? So if you go and see PKC method means, okay, method for authorization code granted, okay, authorization for grant, okay. So here, so the first step itself, they will be asking us to enable the code challenge and then the, sorry, not this one. Okay. I'm not receiving some. Okay, I think this is sorry, I got the wrong URL. Okay, so basically we will be sending the code challenge and then the state actually. Okay, so this code challenge, right, this code challenge is a short 256 method actually. This code challenge will be automatically created, but here we don't have any kind of application to do that, right? So here we will be having the some dummy code challenge actually, some dummy code challenge and then the some dummy state value. Okay, so let's copy this value, okay, and then paste it here in the give ampersand and paste this code challenge value and then give the ampersand and paste the state value. Okay, now copy this request and then hit it again here in the payload, right? Okay, so we'll go back to one payload actually. Okay, let's close this one. Okay, where is the like which we have tested for? Yeah, so here in this payload also we will be enabling the, we won't be adding the state actually, we will be adding only the code verifier. Okay, so here in the first step we will be using the code challenge. So here in the second step we will be adding the code verifier. These are all the mandatory syntax actually for the syntax for the PKC method. So we will be using the code underscore verifier. So this value and then in the request this value should be must be same or else it will throw an error. It won't create a access token actually. Okay, let's try this. This is the first one, first API call we are going to do it. So the application team, right, they will be automatically creating this challenge and then the state actually. Okay, so for every request they will create a separate code challenge value. Okay, yeah. So here open another tab and hit it. So here it is throwing a login page, right? 546 123 the username. Okay, and I will be getting this MFA authentication. Send me a push. Okay, I'm getting a push. Okay, approve it. I'm approving the MFA authentication. Okay, I got the code. Okay, here I got the code, right? So copy this code and then go back to the YARC client and paste it here. Here in this code, yeah, replace this access code and then send the request. So here you could see, right, it has been created a access token. So the next step will be the same. Okay, so the next step will be the same actually, getting the user info, from the third API actually. Okay, you can also use the refresh token also to get the new access token actually. So basically this is the authorization code granted with the PKC method. So in the request, right, if I change this value, okay, so here in the request I gave code challenge, right, and then see here, if I change the code verifier, right, to some other value and send the request. So here the access code has been expired. Okay, let me create a one more code actually. Okay, do the authentication. Okay,
Karthik, so
yes,
whatever
yes.
you did there, the hierarchy, it seemed like Postman, right?
You can also, it's a similar to the Postman. Next, I'm coming to the Postman actually. Okay. So I mean,
Okay.
2 to 3 tools I will be giving KT actually. So the next tool I'm coming to the Postman actually. So you can, whatever I'm doing in the Yark client, right? You can do the same thing in the Postman. Okay. So I mean
Okay.
next, okay, next, I mean maybe like tomorrow we will do that Postman actually. Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. Everything will be the same actually. It won't get changed. Whatever we are doing, right? The URLs, the payload, everything will be the same. Only the user interface of that tool, right? It will get changed actually. But that's all. Okay, I'm getting a code and pasted here. And let's see, send the request. So here authorization code is okay. I think I didn't. Okay. So here if I delete this one and let's see. Okay, okay I think I didn't copy that exact code. We go back. I forgot to add the three. Sorry. No, let's see. So here you could see, right, code verifier sent does not match the code challenge included in the authorization request, right? So here if I delete this one and send the request, oh yeah, authorization code has been expired. Okay. So here if I add that one, right, I mean if that code verifier and code challenge does not match means it will throw an error actually. Okay. So it won't create a access token basically. So that is the use case of this one, and then you don't need the certificate to decrypt the access token actually, because you are using the code challenge in the SHA-256 method only. Okay. Okay, so now we have seen the OAuth configurations actually, authorization code grant type with a PKC method, also with the help of a refresh token, also like 4 different type of API we have used. And then we also seen the implicit grant type, client credentials grant type, and ROPC method. Okay, so now we'll go for a selectors actually. Okay, so okay, I think tomorrow I will finish this. Okay, so I will finish that other two tools, and then I'll finish that. I mean, I don't think whether selectors, one selector I can able to cover it today, and then two selectors I will continue tomorrow, and then we'll try other testing tools we can test it. Okay, and then we will finish the clustering, and then it's over for this. The total training actually. Okay, so tomorrow we'll I think it has been exceeded 20 hours, but that's fine. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, so we'll go for a, I mean here in the authentication, as I already mentioned, the selectors, right, there is a three selectors which has been used for a, I mean three selectors which is available for the OAuth, right? So that three selectors we are going to use it. Okay, so now create a new instance. Okay, so the first selector is that OAuth client set authentication selector. Okay, so OAuth client set selector. Okay, so have you remember that? I mean, have you remember that connection set selector for this one? Have you remember this connection set authentication selector for SAML configuration? So here you will be adding the SAML connection here. So whenever the request coming from this SAML connection, it will take it as a yes in the policy. Okay. So similarly, this OAuth selector, right? This OAuth client set selector is the most important selector in the, for only for OAuth configuration. This is the most important selector in 100%. In every organization, if you go, this OAuth client selector will be there actually. Okay, because this is the most important selector. Okay, so this client selector you can choose it. Okay, give the name as OAuth client. Okay, copy the name, paste it here, click on next, add a new row to the clients. Okay, give the client ID. Okay, shall we, okay, and then as I already mentioned, right, this is only for authorization code grant type and then the implicit grant type. Okay, we will add that authorization code grant type. Okay, and then click on update. So if I try to access the authorization code grant type client ID means I will be taking as a yes actually. Okay, click on next and save it. Okay, now I have created a selector here, then we will create a policy here. Okay, we'll create a policy, add policy. So here give the name as OAuth client, give the same as description. Okay, choose the selectors. Okay, and choose the OAuth client. Okay, so that means if it is implicit means it will take it as a no. What we can do, we can try HTTP. Oh no, we can try the composite adapter. No, we can try only the HTML adapter. Failure is done. Success is choose the policy contracts. I think we have used one policy number 1, right? Choose this policy contract, go to the contract mapping, click on next, give the subject adapter, username, click on next, next, done. Now here for yes, choose the HTTP adapter. Okay, for yes, choose the HTTP adapter, click on done. In the success, choose the policy contract, choose the first policy, click on contract mapping, click on next, choose the adapter, click on username, next, next, done. Okay, now this is done. Click on done here, but there is one I mean it's not kind of a feature, I mean it's not kind of a feature or anything actually. So here it won't trigger this policy actually if it is in last place. If we already know, right, if it is coming from this policy is there, policy contract is there, right? So obviously this policy will get triggered, so we need to move this one to the top. Okay, we need to move this one to the top. Okay, so I have moved this one to the top, save it. Now if I try to access the implicit grant type means I will be getting the HTML adapter. If I try the authorization code grant type means I will be getting the HTTP adapter. Let's do that one. Okay, I have saved it. Okay, let's do this. Okay, copy this, open an incognito window, paste it here. So here you could see, right, it is triggering an HTTP adapter, right? Before this policy, it has been triggering the HTML adapter, right? So this policy is working, right? The next one, let's do the implicit grant type. Copy this one and then go to this, open another tab and paste it here. You could see, right, it has been triggering an HTML adapter. So this is the use case of this OAuth client set selector actually. This is the use case of this OAuth client set selector. Okay, now the next selector, we can continue with the next selector. Okay, so the next selector is known as this. I mean we won't do this OAuth scope now. We will finish this request auth and context selector and then we'll come back to this one. Okay, so this request auth and context selector, right? Okay, so this selector basically, like, I mean do you know the, I mean we have discussed this where is that HTTP request parameter, right? So basically HTTP request parameter, what it will do, okay, I think, yeah, basically this request parameter, we will add one kind of a request parameter, right? So in the, I mean in the application URL, we are giving some, we are passing some request parameters, that is as a query parameters we are passing this, right? This user is equal to admin. So if it is there means it will trigger one adapter. If it is another one means it will trigger another adapter, right? So that is the request parameter selector, right? That is the request parameter selector. So we have created one request parameter and we have given this attributes, and then in the policies, so we have given this one, right? So if it is admin means we are giving the HTML, if it is read means we are giving this adapter, right? So similarly, this is the same for a OAuth configuration. This is the same, I mean you will be following the HTTP request parameter. I mean we already said, right, this connection set authentication selector is for SAML. Similarly, it is following the same for OAuth client selector, right? So similarly, this HTTP request parameter, it's the same for a request auth and context selector, but for a OAuth configurations actually, for a OAuth configuration. Okay, so this selector, there is one more use case. This selector is only applicable when you are using the ping access tool actually. Okay, I mean there is other use cases also there, but it's mainly used for only when ping access is used, when only ping federate is used, right? But this one does not have that much use cases, but let's do this testing actually. Okay, give it as a authn actually, give the name as authn context actually, give the name and then click on next. Okay, so here just click on the add or update, so you don't need to enable the no match actually, click on next. So here only we will be giving the result values. In the HTTP request parameter selector, we will be giving the query parameters also, and then we will give the values. But here we will be giving only the result values. Okay, because this selector will follow only one parameter actually. Okay, I mean, as in the HTTP request parameter, you can create any kind of a parameters actually, but for auth and context selector for OAuth, right, you can pass only one parameter and the result value will be many things actually. Okay, let's do that. Let's give the read and then let's give the admin. Okay, let's give the admin. Okay, click on add, click on next and save it. Now let's go to the policies. Let's go to the policies. Okay, create a policy. Okay, give the auth and context access name. Okay, copy this name, paste it here. Okay, give the policy, select us. Where is that auth in? Yeah, so here admin and read is there, right? So for admin, let's choose the HTTP. Okay, click on done. Success is choose the policy contracts. Okay, policy number 1, contract mapping. Click on next. The same step will get followed. Username, click on next, next, done. Okay, and then for read, choose the any adapter. Sorry, we will choose the HTML adapter. Fail, done. Success is policy contracts. Policy number 1, contract mapping. Next, subject adapter, username, next, next, done, done, and move this policy to the number 1 because it won't work actually. Okay, and save it. Okay, so I saved it. Now here we will be passing the query parameters. Okay, so here we will be passing, okay, here in the request, so this is the request, right, ampersand ACR underscore values actually. So this is a syntax. Okay, ACR underscore values is a syntax. What is the value I have given? Admin, right? So if it is admin means I should have to trigger the HTTP basic adapter. Okay, so here you could see, right, it is triggering an HTTP basic adapter. Let's change this to read. It should have to trigger the HTML adapter. Okay, if I change this one to read means it will trigger the HTML adapter. Okay, open another tab, hit it. So here you can see, right, it is triggering an HTML adapter. So basically this is the most important, I mean, it's not that much important selector actually, but if it is using the ping access, if your organization using the ping access means this selector is the most important selector actually. It's a mandatory selector to use it in ping Federate. Okay, so okay, let me go back to the console. And then the other selectors, right? Okay, so here we'll continue with the OAuth scope selector tomorrow. Okay, so this session selector, right, it's basically like, I mean, we can't able to give the practical session for this session authentication selector or cluster node selector because we don't have multiple servers or multiple this one for this. So I will explain you theoretically. This session authentication selector, it's basically like it will filter, I mean, it will it will identify the adapter, I mean, sorry, it will trigger the adapter based on the sessions actually. If the session is already there means it will trigger some other adapter, maybe like it is not that much useful actually, but it will trigger one more adapter for authentication actually, maybe like a 2-factor authentication or a MFA. So that is known as a session authentication selector. Okay, so the next one is the cluster node selector. So if you are having more than 2 or 3 servers, right, so each server, if you try to install a ping Federate, right, each server will have a node. Okay, I will tell you what is cluster node actually when we are doing the clustering in the last class. I will tell you what is a node. So node is nothing but it will have one numerical value. Okay, so we will add that numerical value here in this selector. So if the request coming from that numerical value, it will take it as a yes, or else it will take it as a no. That's all. That is the cluster node selector. Okay, so we will see the practical of OAuth scope selector tomorrow. Okay, so basically all the selectors has been done. Only one selector is there. So we will see tomorrow, and then we will go to that. We will see the other 2 tools for OAuth, and then we will go to the clustering, and we will see, I mean, we will see some other components as a theoretical, and then we will close this meeting. Okay, so okay, as of now okay, so as of now like you understand the concept of today, right guys? So because we did lot of things today, we did the authorization code grant type with the PKC method, authorization code with a refresh token, and then like 4 different APIs for authorization code grant type, and then implicit grant type, client credentials grant type, resource owner password credential grant type. So we did all the 4 grant types practical session, right? So basically this is most important one. The API, I mean, you have to understand these APIs actually. Then only, I mean, you don't need to configure anything in the ping Federate. The configuration in the ping Federate for OAuth is just a simple one. But you need to understand the APIs actually, like testing these APIs by using these tools, right? This is more important actually, okay? Because basically these APIs will be configured in the application side, okay? If the application team does not know any kind of, any kind of information regarding the OAuth, right? So you have to explain them. You have to explain them how to use this, how to enable these things actually, okay? So then only you can able to, then only they can able to like finish the project actually, okay? Yeah. So thank you so much guys for joining today's session, okay? Okay, so we will see tomorrow for the last class. So tomorrow will be the last class, okay? We will finish the pink Federate training, okay? So hope you had a good learning in the training actually, okay? So we'll see tomorrow guys. Thank you so much for joining today. Thank you.
Rakesh, Karthik, before you go, so
Yes,
I
yes.
think so about the videos and everything, because even I'm following up with you, but
Mm-hmm.
like the practical sessions, like I also wanted to do
Mm-hmm.
it myself at my
Okay.
convenience, but
Mm-hmm.
so till 11 we have got the videos and everything. So
Till when you got the
till,
videos?
till day 11. So
Till
the
day
new
11.
OAuth,
Okay.
yeah, we haven't got any link for the OAuth, so I would like to
Oh,
have
okay,
that.
okay. You will be getting in the consecutive days actually. Yeah, yeah. You can touch base with Rakesh actually. So he will be sharing the videos actually. Okay. I will also spoke with him. Okay.
Okay, sure. And later on, after the class finish and everything, like while we're going through the everything, we can just ping on the group or something like that. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. That is you can check with Rakesh actually. So he will get a availability time for me, and then he will schedule any call. Okay.
Sure. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
thanks.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, tomorrow you can join, okay? And then Rakesh will also join in the starting. So if you have any queries regarding everything, means you can ask here itself, okay? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I will have a word with him regarding the that recordings actually. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay, Manish. Thank you so much, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Yeah. Thank you, guys.